Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to use my April Flowers palette collection and we're going to create a really cool leaf motif. So to get started, let's use our, select our mixer brush here, Photoshop mixer brush. We're going to go to the brush panel, pick Wet Paint Studio brush number 13, and then we go to our wet paint palettes with this collection, and we're going to start here and hit Option and click, and we're going to load up this palette, the blue-green. We're going to go to a new document. I have here 1500 by 1500, and I'm going to increase my brush size a couple, and I'm going to just create, oops, you want to make sure I make a new layer, not on the background, and I'm going to create a basic leaf shape. Super simple, anybody can draw this. And then I'm going to start with the outsides and fill in the center and pull that down, and you get these really nice wet paint strokes, color blending going on here, and it's really interesting and lovely. So that's good for that one. I'm not going to worry about it being perfect. I'm going to create a new layer. Now we're going to go Option click, load up that lighter green. Same thing, create a basic leaf shape. Nothing fancy. So let's go like that and fill in the center. And if you keep pulling, it's going to keep blending more and more, so it'll be more smooth and have less streaks in it. And it's just basically however you like it, and that's good. So I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to Option click, load up my brush with that color, that nice mainly green color. Same thing, create a nice leaf shape. Do the outsides, and then I'm going to pull down from the center and blend in the middle and pull that down, and I'm happy with that one, so just fill that in there. Now let's go to another document. I have it 1500 by 1500. I'm going to take my color picker, go over here to my inspiration board, and you could pick colors from anywhere on here and it will like go together really well, but I'm going to pick this green for a background just as a nice background, and I'm going to use my paint bucket tool and I'm going to paint that in. Now I'm going to go over here, turn on my leaf layers, select all of these layers, and I'm going to drag them over here into this document. I'm going to Command T and resize these a bit like that. That's good. All right, so let's start with the one of them. I'm going to put this one here. I think I'll put this like at an angle, like so. We're just going to start off. I'm probably going to move these around and not worry exactly if they're perfect, but I kind of want a little sort of alternating sort of motif here. So I'm just playing around with how they are. I'm going to kind of fit them together like this. And actually I can just drag these over here so you can kind of see how I fit them together, and I'm happy with that layout there. So what I'm going to do is group that, turn that into a group, duplicate that group, and I'm going to take my duplicate, maybe resize it down just a little bit. That's pretty good. Okay, so I've got that, and now I'm going to duplicate that group one more time. So I'll just drag it down here, and I'm going to pull this up, and I want it to kind of continue, so I'm going to rotate this, and you'll see what I'm doing here in a little bit, but kind of creating a little vine sort of effect where they're kind of close to each other, and that's good. And so now what I can do is take both these groups. I'm going to Command T, free transform, because I want that leaf motif going from this corner to this corner, and I can even shrink it down just a little bit if I want, but this is kind of the effect that I'm wanting. So a lot of times whenever I'm drawing and stuff with my brushes, I create things bigger than I need to, and then I shrink them down, you know, later for my for my design. So it's always better to create it too big, and then you can always shrink it This I'm really happy with the composition, so I'm gonna commit that and hit return. And I'll group that again. I'm going to duplicate that group. And I always kind of like to keep a backup because you never know, you might want to return back or you didn't like what you did. So it's always kind of good to kind of keep steps in there. I'll just go ahead and merge this group. And now what I'm going to do is create a new layer. I'm going to get my pattern stamp tool, use one of my impressionist brushes. We're going to go get Artistic Autumn Brush 35, which has a really cool little motif, and I think it will be good for the centers. And I'm going to, let's see, look at my color palettes from this collection and just pick some nice ones, like some contrasting ones with some of the color, like the warmth in it with the oranges. So I'll get number 7, and I'm just going to draw this, yeah, 7 I like, in the center here on this blue. And then maybe I'll go with number 5 and draw this, yeah, on there, on the green. And then let's see here. Maybe I'll go with 11. And I'll probably only take like, I think I'll stick with just 2. So I'll use 5 and 7. So I'll use 7 on some of them. And then I'll use 5 on some of them. And I like because it brings some of the little orange into this mix here. So it adds like a nice warmth. So I'm just using 2, 5 and 7 to create some nice little centers inside those leaves. And I think it's a really cool motif. And now I can, I will duplicate those 2 layers and I'll go ahead and merge my group, or merge those 2 layers, the duplicates. And now I have this nice thing that's all one piece. And now I'm going to go back over here to my, and you could leave it just like this, but I'm going to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to get my wet paint brush, and I actually, rather than loading up a color blend, I want to load a solid color. So you can just, right here with the color picker, you can just click this, and I'm going to pick my background color, and I'll click OK. And I've got that. I think I'll make one more copy because maybe I won't like it and I'll want to start again. And so what I'm going to do is kind of pull the edges and kind of blend everything together and just see how it turns out. So I'm going to start up here and just kind of blend around the edges and pull down. And it's got this really, because I'm using the same color as my background, it kind of creates a really cool effect. And I like kind of smoothing out some of those edges as well and kind of blending them into the background. So it's still on a separate layer, but it's kind of blending it in the background in a really cool way. And I'm just pulling, you can undo, but I'm just pulling like this just around the edges. And oops, I kind of messed that one up. So you can always undo. And this is why I create like a copy of this layer, because it might not turn out so perfect. And you can always turn your brush smoothing on, but I'm kind of wanting to keep everything going towards that little center part. And you could start from the bottom, actually, might be better, but I'm kind of just embracing the spontaneity of it like that. Kind of getting off all those rough edges. And there we go. So I think that looks really cool. And you know, you can use this technique on like a invitation or something for spring, or just a background image or a pattern or what have you. But I think it's really neat. And as you see here, it's got that edge around it, but I like how it gives the illusion of blending in with the background and kind of coming out from the background. So I think that's really cool and different and interesting. So hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have any questions about it, just message me below in the comments.